Oh my god, this is gonna be such a long fucking video. Gaming communities are something that is old as gaming itself. Popularized around the years of 2012 to 2014, these have been homes to many different gamers, with many making friends in that community and just overall having fun. Little do many people know these gaming communities hold a dark secret within them. These gaming communities have been good homes to good people, but also many people who would be described as Satan incarnate. From accusations of pedophilia, sexual harassment, DDoSing, doxing, swatting, favoritism, sexual favors, racism, homophobia, and suicide baiting. These communities have summoned up one of the most insane hellspawn you could ever think of, and also created some of the most long-running drama that you could ever imagine. Tune into this video as I explain the atrocities of the gaming community scene and inform you on some of the most heinous people that still reside in these gaming communities to this day.
These niggas ain't ready.
Hello, my name is Kiwingly, or you can just call me Kiwi, and I'm gonna be on Facecam for a vast majority of this video because that's what I got recommended to by.
Yeah, nigga, it was me.
To get into the topic of this video, one has to know lots about this whole scene to understand the acts of these communities and the people within them. There are a lot of intricacies within them, but I plan to explain those intricacies as best as I can. By doing so, I hope that it will help you to understand a little bit more about what I'm going to be talking about in this video. Also, just to cover myself and out of respect to everyone I'm going to mention in this video, everything I am going to say in this video, unless I specify, are going to be accusations that people have made against these people, not accusations that I am making towards these people. And if I can reference any of these accusations, I will make sure to show them in the video. All I'm trying to do is spread information about a scene on the internet that has been vastly unchecked by the internet itself. First off, let's distinguish between a clan and a community. A clan is usually focused in the professional gaming industry. Examples would be FaZe Clan or Optic Gaming, that now are considered organizations, but before used to be known as clans. These clans usually were involved with early esports and content creation. Communities are pretty much everything clans are, but with the only difference being that they are non-exclusive. Anyone can join a gaming community, but only a few can join a gaming clan. While I was in one of these gaming communities, I was taught to respect the name as a gaming community and not to call these communities clans. So as I go on in this video, I'm going to be referring to these gaming communities as gaming communities because that's what they are and not clans. Now, if you want to be introduced into the small world of gaming communities, you have to go pretty far back. They all centered around different games like Halo and Call of Duty. But if I wanted to tell you the information and history of gaming communities, it would be pretty jumbled up and all over the place. And I'm just gonna try and keep it short and simple for everybody here. Here's the thing, pretty much all gaming communities have sprung up from one other gaming community. The theoretical patient zero of these communities is named KSI. Now, KSI was really big on the internet back in the Halo 2 days and then fell off around Halo 3. By the way, this has nothing to do with the YouTuber KSI. Their name is just KSI. KSI used to be a legit clan. They were really big in the MLG scene for Halo, and only the most highly skilled players were allowed in KSI. Now, KSI had a huge leadership problem. This was basically the benefiting factor for many communities to sprout off of it. The biggest split off from KSI happens to be XGN, or Exiled Gaming Network. XGN still exists today and happens to be a gaming community I used to be a part of. Also, one more thing before I move past KSI, if you end up Googling their name, there's like 20 million different KSIs nowadays, and like the original one is like so hard to find. Just don't even attempt it. Don't even attempt it, because like everybody's a fucking poser. Okay, cool. Let's move on. Let's talk about XGN. Now, before I do talk about the controversy that is surrounding this gaming community, XGN, I do want to give it some props. Despite whatever I say or think, I still will forever have respect for this place because I literally fucking grew up in this community. I respect pretty much every leader that is currently in XGN and was in XGN, and also XS. We'll talk about XS or Exile Syndicate in a little bit. Just hold on. I'm jumping the gun a little bit. I love the experience it gave me as a leader, and I love the opportunity I did have to help out people as much as I did. And if things didn't happen like they did, which I'll explain way later on in the video, I probably to this day would still be in XGN just for the people there. If I could go back in time, I probably wouldn't have done what I did. I probably wouldn't have encouraged people to do what I was going to do. And I, again, still probably would have been there. Okay, so XGN, aka Exile Gaming Network, was established July 7th, 2010 by Mr. XGN, the current president and CEO of XGN. I think they don't even have their board of directors like listed on their website like they used to. The other founders of XGN were XGN Damaged VII, XGN Sandman 7, XGN Tiesto 7, XGN Legacy 7, XGN Dark 7, and XGN Anarchy VII. 1, I just said that all from memory. 2, yeah, these niggas really love the number 7. 7 founders, the 7th month, the 7th day, also a 7 in their names. Yes, these niggas really turned a number into a symbol of respect within the community. And nowadays it's given out to leaders that have shown great skill and loyalty towards the community. Later on into XGN's current lifespan, Mr. XGN, whose real name is Peyton Corey Keithley, supposedly, but most just call Corey within the entirety of the gaming community scene, started a conglomerate of gaming communities called Exile Syndicate, or XS, in the summer of 2018. I would try and research more onto the specific date of when it was created, but 1, I don't remember, and 2, they don't show it on their website anymore. Plus, I'm also not able to access their website anymore, so... Now, Access at first was made up initially of about 3 gaming communities, but currently it makes up about fucking 12 that are all a branch within something new called Exiled Incorporated, which happens to be the masterminds behind some of the gaming clan world's most renowned and beloved brands, and also is a technology company, which is a little bit of an exaggeration. Number 1, they're hardly a brand. They all combined have thousands of people doing free labor over the internet under cult-like security. And also a technology company, bro. The biggest developments the gaming community scene has ever developed technology-wise is an IP grabbing and booting software, which is probably just a fork of some other stolen software, and a VPN service to protect directly from that IP grabbing and booting software. Congrats on your vast monopoly that covers 3,000 people on the planet. But I'll talk about that later. Back to Exiled Incorporated. I wish I could know more about this, but all the information on their website is locked behind an unpaid membership to this gaming community. Lord, okay, let's move on. Now, a big part of these gaming communities is there being a ranking system. And you might think, oh, what is this, like the military? Yes, it fucking is, yes. Now, the ranking system in XGN specifically has changed more than the underage members of XGN going through puberty, while also having expectations for them to outperform any other member in the community. And no, I didn't stutter. I'm not too sure about right at this moment, but the age limit to join XGN for a good time while I was in XGN was 13 years old, and for a while was also 12 years old. I will eventually come back around to this fact, but to stay on course, yes, the ranking structure has changed a lot, but we're just going to go off of the ranking structure that was present in XGN for the vast majority of its lifespan. Now, here's the ranking structure. It's pretty long, yeah, and most of the time, unless you fell in love with someone very specific in the community, most of the higher ranks past this point took years to achieve. Right here is where I ended up before I left XGN, right at Division Leader. Now you might also notice that I've divided these ranks into different sections. Well, for the most part during XGN's lifespan, there were different sections to those ranks into what ranks fit into the community. Again, going off of the old system because the current one is different than the one I was accustomed to while I was in the community. You had your squads, which held, I believe, a maximum of 125 members in each one. Your squads then were part of a single division, which I believe at a certain point could hold up to a maximum of 750 members. And above those divisions, you had senior leadership, which looked over those in charge of the division and were mostly in charge of operational tasks within the community. I'll bring up these charts again as we go on because they'll become relevant throughout this entire video. I think the last thing you guys need to know for this section of the video is just the work that goes into being a member in the community. Now, to rank up in this ranking structure, you had to do certain tasks and they all had a time requirement between ranks before you could be promoted. Now that could be going to squad meetings, which were twice a week and were low-key mandatory if you were online at the time. They could be to recruit others into the community. They could also be to attend different activities such as game nights, workshops, or social nights. Game nights were essentially what you would think it was just a set allotted time where people would play games, and if you joined in, you got credit. Workshops were a bit more difficult, where a higher ranking member in the squad would host a workshop on different information, whether that be policy, rules, or training that is required in the community. Now, before you could make it into the staff of the squad, which are these ranks, you had to start training in new recruits. That was the main job of this rank, which essentially introduced a new member into the community and officially had them set up and documented. Before you could become this rank though, you had to sit in on a set number of trainings before being able to do the last major task that is introduced at the squad staff level, which is a test. Yes, you were tested on information and policy in the community. As you advanced in rank throughout the community, you were met with harder and harder tests to know more and more complicated and extensive policies. If you didn't pass your tests, you didn't get promoted. If you did pass, a new set of responsibilities was put on you. As you grew even higher in the ranking structure, these questions started to turn into scenarios which you were expected to handle in a certain way to the liking of the person giving your test. These scenarios, which happened daily, mind you, would include anything from the correct way to handle 3 policies at once with one person and who you should notify, to you helping someone to not commit suicide, to even how to obtain someone's personal information, doxing them in the process, to just notify local authorities of something they're doing wrong. Mind you, some of these actions were carried out by people that were 13 to 14 years old. Children that sometimes still sounded like your dog's favorite fucking toy were tasked to make sure that someone didn't kill themselves. A grown-ass man, a grown-ass woman didn't kill themselves. Oh, don't worry though, XGen eventually made their leadership development program, or LDP, mandatory for all members when they were wanting to rank up. The LDP was led by many different prominent leaders in the community, and for a while was led by the most notorious XGN member ever, Hells. We'll talk about him later though. During these LDP meetings, they created and showed slideshows that went over policies and rules within the community. By the time you reached this rank, you were expected to know fucking everything. I went through another program called Hell's Pit at this rank, which was recommended by a division leader and approved by the director over that division. In that program, every day, and sometimes 2 to 3 times a day, you would be asked a scenario by senior leadership, and if you got it wrong, you got set back a day. Now, me being a fucking goat, I was one of the few that got into the program and never got set back because I got every question and scenario right. And halfway through the process, I was cleared through the program early. The knowledge that I was made to know was intense, and I felt proud knowing that I was respected throughout senior leadership to be able to be trusted so quickly. However, it also backfired by reinforcing this idea in my head that if I can help make this community a better place, maybe they can have a better experience than I did, legitimately growing up in this community, when it never would be as good as it was when I first joined. Now, real quick, I want to go back to something I just mentioned a tad bit ago, the suicide policy. Now, again, just a reminder, this is not the policy that they would use to this day, according to my knowledge that I know now. This was created in 2018, so please think about this in the past, not in the present. Now, it would be stupid for me to go through from memory the entirety of this policy and its slideshows attached to it. Good thing I still have this slideshow though from 4 years ago from the LDP. That's fucking crazy. Let's go through this suicide policy real quick and then we can loop back and show some more bullshit policies. Okay, suicide policy 2018, yes Lord. First off, from the time I joined till this new policy came out, the last policy was this: if someone is showing suicidal tendencies, they were gutted, MR'd, membership revoked. You were gone. Goodbye. Have a good day. If you were a witness to any suicidal tendencies happening, you were immediately told to contact senior leadership and tell them what happened. I would know this because I had to do this at this rank. This is for the first time where I met one of my good friends from XGN-ish, who ended up MRing the person who I reported for having suicidal tendencies. He told me what happened and I moved on with my day. At the time, this was to avoid liability to the community and was very archaic. Obviously, at first I was like, okay, this is a smart choice. Why would they want to get wrapped up in this type of liability, especially when it's such a serious topic like suicide? Though this is probably the worst thing you could do. Think about it. Someone joined this community to go away from their stress of their life. And when you talk about that stress, you're fucking gone. First off, they start the suicide policy slideshow by stating that we have changed the suicide policy so that we are more supportive towards the health of safety of our members. What a nice sentiment. Definitely better than just kicking a nigga out after they say KMS, right? Then they instruct that all squad leaders should cover the ins and out of the suicide policy at the first meeting of each month. Nobody did that shit. This was unnecessary rules to know and control exactly what is being said in these meetings. They also wanted squad leaders to read out the entirety of the code of conduct, which took 4 to 6 minutes every single time they did a meeting. Nobody was doing that shit and nobody gave a fuck. What is considered a threat? You think, oh, this is obvious, like, you know, someone's not doing too well, right? Well, an example here is someone telling everyone goodbye while using a gun emoji. Me personally, if I posted goodbye with a squirt gun emoji, I must have been off a perk.
I'm looking for the blue M30s. People call them the perks, but I believe they're fentanyl.
Which isn't entirely too unrealistic. And before me telling you about a time a guy OD'd and we had to dox him to find his locations. It then goes to outline the responsibility of the staff engaged in this situation. They say all staff, including you, Jimmy, that just got called the F slur by your bully in 7th grade, you have to come online and deal with a grown-ass man in his 30s and decipher whether or not he posting a bomb emoji means that he's going to kill himself. Are expected to exercise sound professional judgment, on the side of caution and demonstrate extreme sensitivity throughout any crisis. Basically saying to everyone in staff that if a nigga wants to game on themselves, you need to be professional. Because that's what you'd expect you'd have to do in an unpaid position in a gaming community that you joined to have fun in, right? Right? Yeah. Especially for all minors, including myself, who had to deal with this multiple times during my stay for 3 years. They then establish different risk levels for the situation, which you are expected to refer to professionally when dealing with this situation with other people. With these establishments, they also recommend, based on the risk level, different recommendations, which would usually be known as punishments for any normal nigga. These can span for a mandatory leave of absence or LOA for up to a month, to being forced to transfer to a different squad or division, or even asked to leave all Discord servers that are associated with XS or XGN. Great. What they didn't think about is their next recommendation, though, which might be the worst thing that you can do in the community, which is the member is asked to join a non-stress intensive position in XS/XGM, such as the Achievements and Awards Program, or AAP, the news team, the events team, the media team, the design team, or web operation department. Real quick, let me run you through these departments just to tell you how bad they were and why you should never join them if you are depressed. The Achievements and Awards Program, or AAP, is probably the least stressful job, which just really involves encouraging people to vote in monthly dick measuring contests on the forums, which I've won many, and go to meetings to suggest new dick measuring contests. The news team is what you'd think it is. It's essentially the high school newspaper of XGN. What would be written on this news team? Interviews with members, reviews of games, news about games, and news about events in XGN. What made this incredibly stressful was that I was under the most buzzkill leader at the time that I was there. I'm not going to mention their name because I feel like that would be a little bit too rude of myself. That was all that they had in their life, was the news team. And nothing happened in that news team without that person knowing about it. Anyways, there were inconsistent levels of skill required to become a writer or to have a story published. Some people would write dog shit on paper and have it published in -2 seconds. Others would write the equivalent to the entire Hunger Games book series and be asked, is there any way that you can write this a bit differently? Or even better, the wild time frames to get shit done, like having a couple days to do a story, or getting told off when you're assigned to interview a high-ranking member and they genuinely are the worst person to ever schedule anything with you, and you get chewed out that it's not done on time when it's literally not your fault. Yeah, don't join this shit.
You're fucking Glizzy bit me, yo. Bit you? Fucking Glizzy.
The events team used to be the most toxic place in the fucking world, with the most insufferable people to deal with. At the time, the events team was led by the most terrible people who turned out to be the most manipulative and gaslighting individual in the whole community. We're not going to say their name, but if you know who I'm talking about. But you have fun with that. Have fun organizing people for some type of tournament who all of a sudden have never picked up a controller and their routers have been set on fire. Overall, it's not a good place. It's not stress-free. The media team is another fucking travesty that is and has been the most unorganized thing ever. The media team is the people responsible for handling the Twitch and YouTube of the organization, and I was a part of this. Specifically the YouTube part, which was suffering very hard. Half because the content was shit, and the other half of the time because the content was sparse. While I was there, I made one video, and then I was removed for some BS reason that I can't even remember, so don't quote me, don't quote me. However, I'm not wrong. Anyone who has actually put real effort in constantly improving the quality of your content knows that it is stressful to do any of it, whether it's through streaming or video creation. The design team is fucking heresy and the worst kind of it. Twitter, you're gonna have a good time with this one. This is terrible. This is terrible. Now let's give a little scenario. You're pretty good with Photoshop and you know your way around graphic design to be able to very cleanly make some cool looking logos. You end up volunteering for a company that asks you to do some tasks. You post some of your work in some chat in Microsoft Teams, and people suggest you should join the art team of the company. You do it. Your art's so good. The lead of the art team of the company bring you in and give you your first assignment. They give you a name, an image, and a color, and tell you to make a logo completely from scratch. You make a banger logo, you post the logo, and the lead hands it to someone who's part of the company. You then ask, hey, I just did all this work that took 6 to 8 hours to do. Do I get any like commission rate or like pay or anything? The art team lead looks you dead in the face and says,
hell fucking no.
Is that all you got?
I just want to have this image right. You're an artist on Twitter and you did all that and your client just doesn't pay you. That's the design team. You do free graphic art whenever a member requests it, free of charge. And don't forget, you still got to go to meetings and interact with people to stay active. And don't even get me started if you're a staff member, to say the least.
At squad leaders, don't forget to get your midweek report ready for div meeting.
Wow. Worry about yourself. Thank you.
That is fucking stressful. Lastly, of the departments I care to talk about is web operations, or just shortened to web ops. Now here you will moderate the forums of the community and be the first line of defense when notifying upper leadership of attacks on the website, which was more common than you would think. So like, I guess this isn't the most stressful thing here, but like, if you think about it, you aren't really doing much than like a Discord mod for a server.
What do we have, ladies? A fucking clown. We are a stupid bitch. We are a fucking clown.
Now, who wants to join a department and add more workload onto your life for no reason at all? No one? No one does? Oh. That's crazy. Anyways, let's get back to some of these fucking policies, right? Now, this one isn't so much a policy, but still was an LDP slideshow lesson, which was on how to monetarily support XS/XGN. Now, I want to talk about something real quick. These motherfuckers pet how much XS/XGN costs to be ran. One thing I want to pay close attention to is the server-related costs. Let's do the math on this. Excluding server upgrades, because those are simply at the discretion of how Corey feels about the website's speed at the moment. You have server upkeep, which is $120 a month. You then have server bill/expenses, which is $500 a month. And finally, DDoS protection, which is $100 a month. Altogether, that equals $720 a month just on the server, which means in a year, the websites that XS/XGN ran cost them $8,640 a year. Now, let's be real, BFFR.
Be fucking for real.
And this one goes out to all my IT niggas that knows what WWW stands for. Does a server, which quite frankly was always down for maintenance and always got incredibly slow when there were more than 50 people on it at once, costs that much a year. I'm just saying, Corey, you were getting fucked in the ass on this deal, my nigga. Also, like website upgrades, you spend a band on every year and they don't look better than a Squarespace preset, or like advertising and marketing. Who's making all those ads, Corey? It's not you, it's the design team that you're not paying. So, what cost is there? You're having them make the logos, you're having the unpaid people make your logos, then you're having the unpaid people that you have to manage your social media post them. What's the cost there? Also, in the art department, making those logos, who was it? Paddi? You mean Paddi, who like is a person that's featured in this video? Like Paddi, who made this logo for you? Just saying, bro, someone's scamming you on these prices, my nigga. And I gotta say, $300 a year on apparel design? I promise you, Corey, I promise you, you could have gotten a nice foreign man to design these designs on these hoodies and these t-shirts for a very small fraction of the price that you're paying each year. The next two slides literally give you a gameplay and commentary walkthrough on how to donate to XGN. Like, they literally put this shit in steps like they were making a goddamn zombies Easter egg video.
Hi guys, Mr. Off Waffles here. Origins Easter egg, Black Ops 3.
Another kind of wild thing was us being required to learn a software-based website called CMS. This was a really useful system that literally did security checks for you as a member of division staff, and also made it very easy to keep track of all your members. However, again, this is kind of another way for them to kind of keep track of literally everything that happens the second it happens, which, I mean, obviously they want to keep track of everything happening in their gaming community. They own it, like they have the right to do it, but it was a little bit more intricate than that. For example, I one time while I was a general got invited to a party by Hells, which was the scariest thing I've ever experienced in my life. And Corey was also in that party. Hells asked me why my CMS wasn't updated. I told him, like, nigga, I update it like every day after I get home from school. Like, I don't know what you want from me. Like, if something happens while I'm at school, I'm gonna just wait until I get home. He was very understanding and just told me to stay on top of it as best as you can. By the way, W Hells, now I have a more favorable experience with him, but I know one person really doesn't, and you'll get to hear about that later in this video. You will. One thing that's not brought up in the discipline LDP certification is the form of discipline called blacklisting, and it's just as extensive as you would expect. If a person or community was blacklisted, you were not allowed to talk to that person or any member of that community. Even having them on your Xbox friends list would result in you getting membership revoked. I will talk about the blacklist more in a bit, but from what I know, I don't believe the blacklist exists anymore in the majority of the biggest gaming communities. Overall, it was just another form of control on their members. Now, really quick, again, I don't want to bash on the LDP department, especially when Hells was around, because I learned some great qualities as a leader. And with me being a business major that's 2 years out from his MBA, it really inspires me to go into this field and also gave me a head start on a lot of concepts. I appreciate that a lot, G. Okay, I want to move on, and I want to talk about certain people and certain communities that have committed atrocities throughout the internet. If you're a high-ranking member in the community, at least while I was there, and I don't mention you, congrats. It's either I don't care about you, or if I named every single one of you, this video would have been insanely long. First, I want to talk about someone near and dear to the gaming community scene, the owner of XGN, Mr. XGN. Mr. XGN, who also just goes by Corey, has had many different accusations made towards him from many different people. Those stretch from accusations of pedophilia with supposed supporting claims from a previous ex-girlfriend of his, that have circled around the gaming communities for years at this point. These accusations have been mostly circumvented by claiming that these rumors have only come from haters of him. Haters that he's apparently had since he was 16. However, in that same tweet, he also says he doesn't care about the hate. But one look down his Twitter, and that's all he tweets about, including shit like this, where he equates Hydra and Exiled Incorporated to be a god arm wrestling the devil, which is every clan or gaming community that opposes them. Also, speaking about this tweet, he quotes the Bible.
The Bible.
This is the Bible.
You question the words of the mighty
With 1 Timothy 5:8, where it says, But if any provide not for his own, and specifically for those of his own house, he hath denied the faith, and is worse than an infidel. One look at the rest of the chapter, though, will display how it talks about a lot of other things, like supporting people in need, encouraging people while they try and better themselves, not to entertain rumors about people that have a reputation, and most importantly, keeping yourself pure of other people's sins. Something that is very hard for a lot of people in this scene due to the severe and terminal case of Twitter fingers that they have, including you, Corey. And while those Twitter fingers might not be directly attacking someone individually, 90% of the time it's a subtweet towards someone. Other accusations that people have pointed at him include doxing, swatting, DDoSing, blackmail, harassing, including the sexual kind, slander, libel, racism, sexism, homophobia, transphobia, and just pretty much anything under the sun. To reiterate, these claims are not ones that I support nor am claiming against him. These are just reiterations of what I've heard over the years and seen on Twitter. One of the claims coming from the racism claim is that he has or still does use the N-word. Now, if this is an actual picture of you right here, Corey, you can definitely say, anybody who's watching this video can say, you're not black. You don't have any status to reclaim that word and use it however you feel like. Now, me though, I am. And I'm not one to facilitate any type of colorism. So Corey, if you do happen to be, mixed of some sort and you do have some black in you, please let us know, because this picture still isn't helping. The worst thing about this though, Corey, is that not only do I know people who have heard you say it, including a lot of your staff who is 99% white, but I've also myself heard you say it in voice chats.
Nigga, shut the fuck up. I'm twirling out here. Sturdy as shit. Oh, Machiavelli. Billie Jean, Christian Dior.
I'm not one to judge personally, but it's important that you do acknowledge this of anything, because it's impossible to gaslight yourself into thinking anything different. Which, by the way, Corey, I did a little bit of research. I see you're actually incorporated. Exiled Inc. is actually an incorporation, not just like the name, in Kentucky as of last December. Congrats. I also saw that you were issued 1,000 shares of your company dish out. Do any of your board own any of those shares? It'd be crazy if they didn't, right? Because a lot of them have been with you for years and years. I'd like to see if they do. Just, you don't have to show any proof, but just like if they do or not, it'd be interesting to know. Also, are you the only original owner and shareholder of the company that has any legal pull over the corporation? If so, that's kind of fucked up. Also, Exiled Incorporated is a little new to me. What does it actually do?
Under further investigation, it seems as if Exiled Inc. is supposed to be some type of monopoly that they're trying to start, including basically a hub for all clans that is basically just discoverability. Their own gaming clan or community, which is XGN. They have Clan Threads, which seems to be a clothing brand, and Clan Snacks. However, when you look at Clan Snacks, I'm taking into account the cheddar cheese popcorn option. You can see in the advertisement photo that this is sourced from Luxury Comfort Treats. And you go over to Luxury Comfort Treats, and it's the same exact item. So they are essentially drop shipping food. However, what puzzles me even more is they're selling these items for, at least with the cheddar cheese item, I might have to go and find another one. The cheddar cheese popcorn, they're selling it for less than what's on Luxury Comfort Treats. So I'm wondering what is going on here, because it seems as if you are operating on a loss automatically, because you're not charging like more for what the product is actually found on the original site. Like Luxury Comfort Treats is selling it for the exact same price as what you're selling it on Clan Snacks. This is either a huge drop shipping cringe monopoly they're trying to do with both food and clothing, or they have some type of partnership with Luxury Comfort Treats where they are receiving some type of commission for having their items on this website and people buying them, which is the tried and true method for all of these gaming communities and such, because that's all they have done throughout their history. It's just, this is like this is the brands that they get sponsored by. They get into these contracts that they get paid pennies on the dollar, pennies on the Benjamin Franklin, the $100 bills, on these transactions that are just like, oh my god, I paid $10 for this package of jerky that I'll finish in 10 seconds. Guys, we just made 10 cents off of that. That's wild. 10 cents, bro. I don't understand it. I don't understand. Corey, please give some, I don't understand, Corey. You're either operating on a loss with this drop shipping idea, or you're just doing the same shit you've been doing to try, in quotes, try and make money. So, we'll have to see about that.
Where does your profit come from? Does it come from the hundreds of people who have given you and the community money so it can stay afloat due to irrelevance? Does it come from those small ass commissions you get from every sale from these small ass companies when someone uses your code at checkout? Is this why when I was in, you pushed us very, very hard to talk about sponsors all the time to members, to try and drive monetary profit to the point where you required staff to learn about how we can make you more money in the LDP slides I just showed earlier? Sounds more like a business, and with you becoming a little corporation with shares at the end of last year, it seems like that even more, with you trying to reiterate more and more that this is a family and this is a family oriented environment and XGN is your family. And you're doing work for your family. Have you realized that everything under the Exiled umbrella wasn't going to drive you as much profit like it did in 2013 and 2014 when you had deals with Microsoft to provide clothing for the Xbox avatars with the XGN logo on it for purchase? Have you realized that the longer you stray further and further away from the mainstream with ingraining yourself into a secluded niche community of people who make tweets like this and people that attack you who make tweets like this isn't helping your half-decade-long plateau? These are all questions that I would have loved to ask you in person. However, you ghosted me on 2 separate occasions after you said that you would love to talk. It seems like you really weren't interested at all. So here's the video. But it's not just you that has a problem with ghosting in the community scene. I'll talk about that in just a bit. Corey, can I call you Corey now in confidence, because now I can actually see that your full name is listed on the Kentucky SEC's website? I would love to stretch out my hand once again so we can talk about some things and clear up the air about yourself, and so you could make a better light on XGN, because I know there is a better light. You're just not making a good case right now. I'll mention about talking again though towards the end of the video. This video is not meant to attack, it's meant to start a conversation and to facilitate acknowledgement. The thing that you and the rest of your board has struggled to do even when you blatantly made mistakes and went back on them hours later over the years. The thing that has cultivated an egotistical god complex with your leaders as they rank up higher and higher in your communities, that is only reinforced when you make tweets like this. Talk to me. You got my Discord. It hasn't changed in 5 years. Now, just one person I want to mention from XGN for my time has to be the mentioning of Hell's Fury, or Hells, which arguably was the glue that held the community together. Now, as I've mentioned earlier, Hells was a pivotal member and was kind of considered to be not only the scariest person to deal with in XGN, but also the most influential and instrumental figure when it came to the teaching of different facets of the community. A lot of people had a problem with him, but honestly, from my own experience with him and knowing what happened after he stepped away from the community, it was truly heartbreaking and negative to lose him. Unfortunately, that's exactly where I can pinpoint the downfall of the community. And despite what you'll hear in one of the interviews with my partner in crime and best pal in XGN Mag 7, I think Hells was an insane asset, and you losing him was terrible. Now, for the people listening, they may be asking, I wonder what Hells looks like. Well, just imagine the most accurate stereotype for a white Texan man in his 50s riding a loud-ass Harley Davidson, and that's exactly what he looked like. No disrespect at all, though. Like, that nigga was legit.
She has a point.
And was really nice when actually talking to him. But he was just another drop in the bucket when it came to the diversity in the gaming community scene. A severe lack of members that are neurodivergent, that are people of color, that are queer, and it kind of just is the culture there. Like, the most famous black member in the gaming scene was probably XGN-ish, who made it all the way here first time around, followed by me and my friend Mag a few rickets down the ladder. Now, to introduce the last person I want to talk about real quick, let's talk about TSB. TSB, also known as Tough Shit Baby, is another gaming community which is one of the biggest along with XGN. XGN being a part of Exiled Incorporated now is a conglomerate of other brands and communities. TSB is part of a conglomerate group of different communities called Hydra, which includes a few other gaming communities. TSB has a similar ranking structure to XGN and has had lots of problems over the years, including problems surrounding their Shiver Me Timbers security team over the years that used to be famous for DDoSing people. According to themselves, that doesn't happen anymore, and TSB has become a really good place for people to chill. However, conversation is the key of this video, which explicitly has not been talked about of this topic from TSB. And obviously they can't gaslight themselves into saying that this never happened, because I've known many people who this has happened to, including myself. I aim to talk about this with some members of their leadership recently, like I also tried to talk with Mr. XGN Corey. Yes, again, I was left with me being ghosted and avoided. I guess since you didn't want to talk to me, let's ask a few questions and bring up a few things. Callie TSB. Callie TSB, a prominent leader of TSB and figurehead in the community scene, and also the nigga who decided to ghost me privately after agreeing to talk about things, with even the head of the security team for TSB bugging you for a couple weeks to talk as well after agreeing to once again. Also, a nigga who loves to spout out his god-awful political takes on Maine, because like, that screams a leader. Same nigga who posts shit like this and this that are considered a baseline sane thought processes, but then freaks out when California is attempting to bypass big pharma companies and manufacture their own insulin, so people making $10 an hour don't have to pay 20% of their yearly salary to pay for their life-saving medication. Like, bro, I don't care. Just keep your cracked out opinions off the timeline. I don't know why you would want to try and alienate the members that you surely would want to join any of the gaming community scene. I don't know why you would ever spout off political takes in the current political environment of America. I don't understand that at all. But on another hand, W tweet though, W tweet. Anyways, Callie, can we talk about your history of TSB? And even before that, with one of the thousands of KSIs, can we talk about how you and others, but mainly you, love to tweet about other clans that are attacking Hydra and Exiled Inc. and acknowledging them, but also in the next tweet act as if you are always on the moral high ground of leadership and maturity? Callie, TSB, let's clear up some shit. Let's talk. Let's talk about the lies that were spread throughout XGN all the time about you and all of your members all the time. Let's talk about that. TSB, let's talk about that more and how you decided to put all of that behind you and become buddy-buddy with Exiled Inc. With your name constantly being slandered and dragged throughout the mud and just attacked with the most heinous things said about you for years. As a matter of fact, everyone that I wanted to talk to before this video came out, let's talk about Unlimited, right? And how y'all were addicted to going back and forth with the owner of that community, who was a mother, on Twitter, back and forth, when all you had to do was just stop talking and the drama would have stopped. But you just kept going back and forth. I just don't know who ended up being the bigger man there. Come on now. Let's talk about the blacklist and how that was the most oppressive form of control you've ever had on members ever. Let's talk about it taking the creation of Next Generation to have everyone come together and hold hands. But then y'all excluded, made fun of, and slandered our names all day long to everybody you knew, when we were the main contributor to the relationship that you have now. And we'll talk about Next Generation towards the end of the video, but we need to play catch up for a second. Corey, Callie, TSB, XGN, I got no gripes with you. My problem is the lack of transparency that has come out from y'all, and it's really disheartening. A scene where I've grown up in has been tarnished due to people never actually learning from their mistakes and never telling people exactly what mistakes not to make. Backing up to that 1 Timothy chapter 5, a main subject is helping people trying to better themselves. Help these clans that are attacking you instead of trying to bring them down more. Help these leaders within your community to not make the same mistakes you did. Move on to the next generation of leaders and make them better than you once were. That's how you improve. But Corey, you tweet about being in the game for what, a decade and a half? You ever think to move on to the next batch of leaders? Same to the other leaders in Hydra and other communities. Why are you still here? Do you not trust any of the people below you? What does that say about you as a leader? What does that say about the staff that you are leading? When I left to go to Next, I left knowing that there were still going to be people left behind that would still improve the community. I trusted them. Again, this video is not a call out, attack, or even supposed to be negative at all. This was made to be informal of people about this scene, and originally this was supposed to be a defense piece for y'all, to drive people into your communities. But y'all ghosted me altogether 4 times. I'm trying to help y'all. If this is how I get your attention, then so be it. I would hate to see the scene I literally grew up in fall apart. Also, to the smaller communities that have been slandering Corey and Callie and Terracode's name, what the fuck is wrong with you? Stop attacking each other. What's the point? Now we've reached my favorite part of this video. I reached out to a bunch of my friends to read a bunch of y'all's tweets that I found really funny. And when taken out of context, which to the vast majority of the internet, it's very out of context, it sounds kind of silly what y'all are actively tweeting out.
Put up walls, tell your members to avoid us. They're still gonna know our names and think we're fucking great. Hashtag Hail Hydra.
The majority of people that elect to hate the clan scene normally haven't experienced why we love it. It's deeper than the drama and trolling.
Ain't too many cons when you playing with the pros, except for how your life gets exposed. But I make that sacrifice for the life that I chose.
Ain't much love in the scene, they don't support their own. But I get love in the scene because I put it on for my home.
You've got to show up every day if you want to be elite at your craft.
Good morning to everyone but Omega clans. I hope your Chinese knockoff merch shrinks in the dryer. I'm gonna start asking for a resume when people post their clan opinions.
Real bros go to the gym with their bro on their shirt.
Not here to fight wars, but want to talk high scores? On a mission, trying to shift the culture. My life's a complete checklist. I'm tired of hearing about who you checking for now. Just give it time. We'll see who's still around a decade from now. That's real. Is this nigga still using a 100 emoji?
My timeline is lit up with ignorance and hypocrisy today. God damn people, own your shit and stop trying to flex on those of us that were actually in the stories you're trying to place yourself in. Remember, Jesus doesn't like liars, thieves, or hypocrisy.
Swear, new clans get a pre-made logo and a Discord server and start talking to OGs reckless on this bird app for no good reason.
The devil's in the details. Everything's strategic.
I love hearing rumors about myself. They make me sound interesting AF.
Measure each moment. Great leaders believe that true leadership is measured in moments, not years. What you do every moment today will influence your future.
You will never win for nothing. Stay loyal. I got you covered.
Dying breed, but we still maintain it.
I think my confidence be pissing a few of you off, but what you hating in me is missing in you, and you soft. I be biting, I be chipping the tooth while you bark. I'm everything that you wishing you was, but you not.
They only want to crush your dreams because they ain't working for them. They only try and break you down because they feel less important. Heavy is the head that wears the crown, and there's a lesson for them.
They said that no form of hate in this world overpowers love, and I still believe it. Had every reason to fail, yet I still succeeded. No matter how crazy your dream is, you can still achieve it.
Cool, calm, and humble. But some days you just gotta let those who oppose you know exactly what they're opposing. Accolades, statistics, reach, impact, values, all assets that set alphas apart from omegas. Be an alpha.
Babe, you made it! Jesus! Get on next box.
Okay, my sweet little sausage egg biscuit.
Teehee.
Not hard to tell that we're different. Having heart-to-hearts with some of the competition. Nigga, you have a Kirito PFP! Who are you beefing with?
I coulda lost my will, I coulda lost ambition. In the face of all that's happened, all the opposition, hostile tensions and hypocrisies that cost me friendships. All the odds that ain't been processed since yet. Don't get me wrong, I am not quite fixed yet. I'm moving on, but I am not forgetting.
I dare you. No fucking balls.
Oh! And evolving past the toxic prism of constantly seeking y'all's attention.
Now, I had the liberty of interviewing my friend Mag, who also goes by XGen Mag7 or Magnificent. I also got to interview another friend, Patrick, aka XGen Oreo7, XGen British Oreo, just Paddi, and just as recent as me starting to write this video again, TSB Paddi. First, we're going to start with Mag.
Shit. I mean, I think just like any other gamer, like once you grow up playing by yourself, then once you get to a point, oh, you want to play with other people or have friends, that's all I was really looking for. You know, I was bored. I wanted to play with a group. I was playing Call of Duty, you know. So I just found a guy playing, and then I just joined the dude party, and that was it really. And then he brought a guy in to train me. To be honest, I wasn't really doing much. The only thing I did was really play games, go to the workshops, the game nights, the meetings. I didn't really want to rank up at the time, but that's all I was really doing, just introducing myself to the members, just really just playing the game. That's about it. Damn, basically
That's
it's
a good
like
question, right?
that's a really good question. It was really, I seen all my friends like when I first got recruited. All my friends, they're all MSGs or SSGs. All right, bet we chilling. We're gaming, and then our division on 360 got removed, I guess, or whatnot. And they transferred to S-Boss 1, and then all of a sudden all my friends are like captains, gens, co-foes. I'm like, yo, if they can do it, I can do it. It's like, let's give it a shot. I mean, the worst that can happen, I just know I can just derank myself or just demote myself at that point. So, but I wanted to give myself a chance to do something for just for the squad at the time. It was really a lot, but the main thing is being that difference into somebody's life. Because if you're a low rank looking in and you see these high ranking people, you are, and then if they join your party, you get scared if you don't know them. Okay, you have no idea who that is, Yeah, why this guy captain? Why this guy major in my squad? What did he do? And then you see his uniform or whatnot. You see all these trainings or recruits they did. You're like, damn, I'm trying to be like that guy. So what I want to do, I want to break the barriers of like doing the minimum requirement by doing the maximum that you can before you rank up. So I want to basically have that expectation that don't relax. If you're ranking up, then rank up. If you don't want to, then don't. So I'm just trying to make way for everybody to just not be lazy no more. I mean, the way I see it, when you rank up and when you gotta deal with situations and people and just everything that happens, sometimes it can feel like you're in customer service at that point. Cause like you gotta hear this story, get witnesses, get screenshots, get pictures, or try and solve issues between members, and then that's really it. It just, to me, I look at it as customer service. Somebody got an issue with somebody and you gotta fix that issue or something going on. I mean, it wasn't really hard. I ran into situations where like, we'll find some weird people, pedophiles and whatnot. And then, I ran into situations where like, I found some people that's actually genuine. See, it depends. Like when you say stress, you mean like, is it like div staff or just squad staff? Because it's very two different type of stress on that level.
I'd say just overall, if you want to talk about both, you can.
Okay, so I say with squad staff, the stress really wasn't that bad. Cause like, if you're an MSG, it's like captain or no, I'm gonna say MSG all with the gen. I mean, it's not bad at all. I mean, it can be stressful because you're over a squad, but it's not that bad if you have the right support group and you believe in your leaders. But when you get to like co-founder and above, that's when the stress like 3 times worse. Cause now you gotta make sure the squad is doing good, and if it's not doing good, then it's your fault. And then the more you go up, the more stressful it gets. So that's one thing to put in perspective. That each time you go higher, the more responsibilities, the more stressful it is, the more situations, and sometimes the less gaming you do. That's the only overturn that you really have with that. I'm gonna say when I almost got blacklisted over to be honest, just over some bullshit. I had a friend who was in a predicament, and yes, she lied in the past about certain stuff, but this time she really wasn't lying. And one of the board had something against her. I ain't gonna say no names, but
Oh no,
that
you
person
can.
did. Oh, Bree.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
she had something against her. And then after Bree saw that she came online, she didn't play no game or nothing because it was legit her brother. They immediately blacklisted her without even questioning her. You know, so, and then she even proved it was her brother and whatnot, and it still did it, so I defended her. And then I made a comment on Twitter that they thought it was towards them, but it wasn't. And they got in their feelings and blacklisted me. Well, no, they were gonna blacklist me, but they realized that people might leave, so they were going to revoke my membership, revoke me, which they did, and to me it was a bad call. Everybody knew it was a bad damn call, and then everybody called them out on it, and basically making them they made them undo it. I'll say that probably the worst situation that ever happened because I tried my best. I fought for all my members. I fought for other members that wasn't even in my division, and then just to be tossed around just because a board don't like somebody. That was the worst ever situation I was ever in for myself. It was everything. It was just corruption around. Like, you can hop in a board party. They're talking about members sending pictures, using them, blackmailing them. From there, and then everything that people try to do, everything I was taught from my mentor, everything he did, they let it slide. And then once I became leader or whatnot, everything I copied from him, they didn't. And then once the division was failing, they put everything on me and everybody under me when they allowed my previous division leader to do anything he wants. So, I mean, on top of that, they just really hated my division. No, TJ, they really hated it. But yeah, at that point, I was really done because it's like, yeah, I want to be in the Hall of Fame, but at what cost? Like, because nothing is happening, and they're being run up bush on everything. The corruption is still growing, and then they still preventing people from playing with each other, with their friends. And I just thought I was just done with it. It's not worth it. When you're a child, you want to have friends to hang around with, then you'll join. But once you're growing up, knowing that there's more to life than just blocking somebody just because they tell you to, yeah. So I think it was time for me to move on. I wasn't really welcome there no more. It was the worst shit in the world. Take a school staff, go to school and get the worst fucking teacher you can, and then go to other schools and get like 8, 9 more the worst teacher you can, and then put a weirdo as the leadership. There you go. That's how it is. Hellsfury. Fuck. Hellsfury. Fuck it. Yeah, Hellsfury. Hellsfury and Bree.
Okay.
The only reason I'm gonna say Bree is because she was a fucking daughter of that damn thing, and they let her do anything she wants. She got people blacklisted just cause, literally. Hells was a hothead. I feel like he was low key racist, but Hells was, I'm gonna say, the worst of them all. And the reason I say the worst is because at least with Corey, at least with Bree, at least with Jaeger, all the other ones, at least they show you their true colors. Like, they're gonna show you who they are. But Hells, he'll be in your face. I fuck with you, bro. Next second, shit, bro. Get the fuck out of my clan. I'm gonna say Hell was the worst leader and the worst example of a leader in there. He had a lot of, he did some fantastic workshops, and I wanted mine to be just as good as his. I actually looked up to him because of that. But then after getting to know him, then hearing him in a party saying, yeah, I got a nude from that girl. Yeah. Like, that just proved to me that they be abusing power. ranking up.
Okay.
I would have never. I would have never went to MSG, because if you're under MSG, you don't have to worry about anything because you're just going to meetings and playing games like it should be. You're playing a game with your friends. That's what a gaming community is about. But if I had to go back, I would. That would be my biggest regret. Would be that entirely. I do got more regrets, but that's the biggest one. Just ranking up, because after you rank up, you're not happy no more. That's it. No more in gaming. No more in nothing. I'll say Jaeger, honestly. The only reason I'm gonna say Jaeger is because Jaeger was always cool with me. He was always, awesome with me. All that good shit. But as soon as the situation with Khaleesi came up, he frowned upon me. Now I will admit, I will give him this credit that this is the only reason. This is the only reason why it's like a nice and bad type of shit, because he did put in to help get me a new Xbox. I will admit that he was an upstanding person. I feel like with Jaeger, he's an upstanding leader, and he's an honest leader. But once a girl is involved, he gets corrupted. So once pussy is involved, it's all over. All the leadership, all the respect is outside the window. So that's why I hate and like him. I like him because he'll do anything for his numbers. He'll do anything to keep SGN alive, even if it means buying a whole nother guy, another system if need be. But I dislike him because once Vagina get in the way, it's like his leadership, it's kind of fragile. Yeah, so I went to Job Corps, and I got into a financial situation where if I wanted to really study and go forth with my trade, because I was a computer tech, then I would need to study in my room a lot. But at the time, I didn't have no computer, and my mom couldn't really afford to get me a laptop at the time. So I said, my mom was like, I could put like 100 or 50 down for it, whatnot. So one of my friends agreed. He said, hey, look, I'm done with my trade. You know what I'm saying? I'm done with school too, so I'll sell you my laptop. Give me your Xbox, $50, and the damn drive with it. I got you. I said, shit, bet. And I was going to buy an Xbox like a couple months later, because I know I want to stay in SGN. But they said that I needed one. I told them I can't afford one, and school comes first. I'm sorry. If I got to step down, I got to step down. And at that moment, at the time, SGN-ish, 7, one of my best friends, and I'm still cool to this day. He put money in, and Jaeger put money in to get me the Xbox, just so that I won't have to rank down, just so that a division won't be out of a division leader once they come back, or a co-deal, just whatever they'll put me as. And I thought that was kind of awesome. That showed me that they actually care. They care about SGN, and if they know that your skills in SGN can profit for them, then yeah, they'll do anything just keep you in that position. I'm gonna rank them. Number 1, you were my mentor. You taught me everything I need to know, from my first captain to a colonel. You basically set me up for a good squad, even though I fucked it up. But we're gonna talk about that. But yeah, you were cool to work with. You taught me my flaws when we argued. You taught me, I had a big ego, which I fixed that along the way. Yeah, it was good working with you. Another person, I'm gonna say, King Savage. You just gotta love that nigga breathing with his damn fucking pipe or whatever he be smoking on. Cool. Third person, I'm gonna say Mick. As annoying as that nigga was, but still love him. He's always meant good in heart. He always worked hard for any situation that he was in. Kills. That I tell him to do something, he getting that shit done with no questions asked. He said, all right, bet. He was a hard worker. I'm very sad how stuff turned out with him. I believe he would have made a good div staff, but it was just a lot of shit was in his way for it. And by the time he got it, it was already like over with that whole division. So yeah, I'll say those are the top 4 people that I really like talking to, and I really like working with. it really depends. Like if all my friends there, I probably stay for like another. I probably stay until like I'm really pissed the hell off to leave. I can't really say how long I would have stayed. Cause if my friends out there and we all having fun, I probably just devoted myself and whatnot if need be. But then again, on the other side, I'm so used to working. You know, I probably would have just still tried to rank up and get to like a permanent stuck position to help out. But to be honest, probably less than a year, I probably would have still left. They lied about everything. Like, they'll lie and say, you know, this or that clan has started with us. And then literally that clan will come back with proof saying they fucked with them first. You know what I'm saying? Like, they'll lie about what they did to other people. They'll lie about doing investigations on certain people. Because once that person come back and show them screenshots or show like an unedited video, you know, you can see them just talking shit to them. And they ain't trying to solve anything. So that's all I really seen. I mean, but yeah, they mostly, man, they'll give you fake promises. All right, we want to see you up here. You know, I remember at one point I got told by them that once you become BOD you get paid, stuff like that. And that shit, that was a definite lie. Damn, I mean, you can really just name it and they lied about it at that point. You know, they'll tell you you're doing good. Then the next day in the meeting, they'll say, "Oh, a division is making rules, doing terrible." You know, they will switch up on you and lie a lot. So I mean, so really, it should be what didn't they lie? What didn't they lie about? Patience, a lot of patience with all kinds of people. Because before I got my first job, I didn't really know I didn't know any customer service skills, and being in SGN, you need that because you gotta deal with your members, you gotta investigate situations, you gotta down there they turn into a damn security motherfucker too. Well, got with the damn weekly security check you have to freaking do. But yeah, they taught me how to be more careful with people. They taught me how to be patient. They taught me how to be a leader, how to lead, and how to admit to my mistakes and just do better. You know, I got taught that if you make a mistake or if you do something wrong, just fix it. You know, I learned how to be on time. Cause we have our meetings. I learned how to give a meeting. You know, and then I learned how to lead a lot of people. I learned how to interrogate after that too. So, but yeah, I learned a lot of life skills from SGN. That I will admit. Shit, meeting you, to be honest. I feel like if I never met you, I wouldn't have been there for that long because no one can match me personality. No one could. And I probably wouldn't even have met, you know, all the friends we have now. I probably wouldn't be in this server. You were really the foundation coming. I didn't really mind hanging out with everybody, but you were the only person I could really stick to, hang around, talk to, because you know you weren't annoying, you weren't overwhelming, you just chilling. So yeah, I'll say the best thing was you, because I mean you the one that, I mean on top of that, if we didn't merge back, who would have rent the squad? I know damn well that Colonel at the time would have ran that shit properly. As we know, I ran his ass within months. He wasn't doing anything. So yeah, it was you. The best thing that happened to me. We could talk about how our division was doing extremely good, and then they legit like they basically gave all of our like techniques to other divisions, and then now all the other divisions doing good, but yet they didn't want to give nobody in our division their flowers. Like, because if you think about it, all the new rules, you know, all the other bullshit, they all spread that between other divisions, and they helped every other division grow, but they still came back on our ass and hated us. But yet the same rules that we made, they'll say you shouldn't make that rule. They'll turn around and they'll make that rule after we don't do it no more. And I just thought that shit was funny. For example, the to promote, it's 5 recruits to go to MSG. They lowered that shit down 3 or 2. We did that, we got in trouble. They start doing that, we start growing. I'm just saying. Instead of us making the hard requirement, we just gave them like, look, just get 2 or 3 of them boys, you good. And we were growing. We had some good, sufficient leaders. We may have promoted them a little bit too fast, but we still was good. And then we got yelled at. But then the next month, they will agree to overturn, not overturn, but they'll agree to change the rules. And then bam, divisions are doing a whole lot better. Shit. Even when you got to train people in from MSG to lieutenant, like every rank was adjusted to be a little more easier. The same thing we did. They basically copied it, yelled at us, and then made every other division do it, and they never said sorry to us.
When someone was newly promoted to MSG, by default, they usually had to have other people sitting in when they were training in new recruits. At first, early on in our time ranking up, early on, we were told, okay, yeah, you can have your first training with someone, and then if they come back to the gen and say oh yeah, they did a good job, then don't even worry about the other ones. And then later on, when we started to lead stuff, we were okay, if you do good on your MSG test and your mock training, then you don't need anybody to sit in. And then they were like, oh, you can't be doing that, whatever. And then they realized, oh shoot, that's way easier. It's so time consuming to have people sit around and wait for someone to sit in a party with them for an hour and a half while they train in someone. It's you shouldn't be doing that if a person is already good at it. It doesn't make any sense.
Like I said before, the more you rank up, the more work you finna get. I mean, I feel like if you did a perfect mock training, and I feel like if you did almost a damn near perfect test, then what's the point of us still testing you by making you sit in if you already did it? I'll see if you I'll see if the mock training, I'll see if you missed some crucial stuff. Cool. Okay, cool. But if you did it, what's the whole point? Well, yeah, I mean, they just really wasted time. So, I mean, we did it. We got in trouble. Then they implemented it. Once again, they never apologized for anything they took. Bro, don't. So one thing I would never get over was basically how we all got blacklisted, and then once they realized that they're gonna lose almost all their members, they wiped the blacklist. So everything that everybody was against for so long, they wiped it after they got rid of us. So the way I look at that in a real slimy way. I feel like they was waiting for something to happen just so they could use this chance to, leaders, we apologize for the blacklist. Nobody should not play with nobody. And then once we left and made our own thing, they made us look like the enemy. So put this into picture. Not only did they steal everything that we did, then they deemed it illegal. Not only that, but then they made it seem like we were the main problem, and that's why they had to get rid of us. So it felt like you were. I felt like a loyal dog for 4 or 5 years, and then after their depression was up, after they didn't need no more, then they dipped and said, "Yeah, bruh, we done with you, my boy." That's how I feel that I got treated with them. To be honest, the scene is already dead. I mean, if you think about it, there's no real big gaming community, unless you want to count the fan club of the big names, like TSM or whatnot. If you want to count those, then cool, go ahead. But just a pure gaming community, from members to building on members, making rules, making rank stuff. That's dead. there's probably not even one community with a legit over 1,000 active members right now. And I do mean active, as in they every day playing, security checks or whatever they do. There's not one community doing that, not one. So it's already dead. The only thing that they're hanging on is a thread. It's like Blockbuster in their very last store, hanging on by a thread. That's it.
Okay. I guess that's all I really have to say. I have to talk to you, Bowser. I guess, you know, I guess my whole point of like trying to do these 2 interviews with you and Paddi, mostly was just trying to gauge the overall like problems that we had to deal with, like just the whole situation of like, why are people acting like this? Why like are we having to deal with this in such a setting where it's so heavily advertised as it like not being like that? So I think mostly with this, I just hope that with this it like kind of just hits their radar as like a thing where there needs to be some type of acknowledgement of what happened in the past, what like horrible things like they did, the lives that they've ruined, the stress that they've created for so many people, probably to this day, and just overall anxiety. Like, we have a friend who is like, who literally like developed like near like a PTSD from like just getting online because of like gaming communities.
If you really want to gauge how damaging SGN did, and I'm gonna have to admit, if I had to compare them to any organization in real life, I'll compare them to the police. Because if you think about police, you got some corrupt police. You got some that sit around and let the corruption happen and don't do anything about it. You got some who will help so don't be involved in it. Then you got some who would genuinely want to do better, but they are getting removed as well. I mean, the whole overall with SGN, but one thing people gotta remember and realize is it's a gaming community. And the people you meet, you don't know them. You just meet them when you play games together and become friendships. You don't know if they're a pedophile, a rapist, a murderer. You don't know if they sell dope. You don't know if they're a politician. You don't know if they're the billionaire. You don't know them. They're all just strangers that you're recruiting to be in a game community to make it more big and to have more people to play with. And that was supposed to be the design of the gaming community of that extent. Play games, play together, have fun. No, that's it. But then once you got people in power, some people get greedy. You got people who are virgins in like their 40s who become BOD or who become div leaders, and since they never had or seen pussy or whatnot, now they finna use that corruption and give somebody a chance. Say if this girlfriend get demoted, they'll probably say, look, I can hold off on this and do me a favor or whatnot. I mean, because it was proven that pedophiles there was at an all-time high. And even at one time, there was a lot of people claiming that Corey himself was a pedophile after finding out that his ex-girlfriend was underage when they dated, and he was way older. I don't know how true that is, but from the years that they dated and from her age, it seems true. But I got no facts on that. So, but yeah. So I take it like a grain of salt, and then you got them becoming leaders. Then you got the woman who knows that these people are dick hungry. So then they might show them a thigh, they might send news to get promoted or whatnot. You gotta look at it. We don't do no legal background checks. We just check their friend list, make sure nobody that we don't like isn't in there. That's it, But they're still human. So people who get any positions, they fake till they make it, or people who get any positions can lose their position if they don't play along. So that's really how SGN is. Sad to say, but that's just how it is. It's not gonna go nowhere. It's gonna always be somebody there that's not supposed to be there. Cause just coming from them made me not want to ever hop back on Xbox. It's just them. Like a lot of people I don't want to talk to no more. It's just a lot of personalities that aren't good at all. That you do meet. But I think this is a problem in every single gaming community or even in the world itself. So I can't really fault them for that. But then again, they welcomed the corruption and they didn't fix it once they realized it. So I kind of feel like they did it to themselves, and that's exactly why everything went downhill. I mean, everywhere you go with people in general, it's gonna be corruption. That's what they had, but they capitalized off of it, and then once you got this group full of people who are not getting none at home, and then once these saying where people become leaders, you know what I'm saying? They're going to do what they want to do. And then the other leaders, and I will say some names like Bree, Jaeger, and them, they're gonna sit around and let it happen when they see everything right there. So the way I see it, people don't want to lose their position, and they're just like cops who don't want to expose the corrupt, or they'll be hanging by a tree or something. So then they play along, and then they play along with the corruption. I had friends who had their news passed around. I was in a party with BOD when they were bringing up news and trading them and stuff like that. I thought being a party with them, I can learn something or learn some knowledge. Learn how to build better. All they do, I mean, cool. They joking around. And we're like, they even will voice and say, "Yeah, I got that news from her. Yeah, she just wanted a promotion, or she wanted to be off for membership revoke or whatnot." They'll get some news, go on the forums. All right, your membership have been unrevoked or whatnot, and yeah. I mean, that's just how the ball go. Men are going to do what men do, and women is going to capitalize off of men failures and their weaknesses to get in a better position. That's just how the train go. I've seen so much money being put in that community, bro. I've seen so much. Like, you can even go on the forums; they'll tell you who I donated. I've seen a lot of BOD donate like $1,000. This one thing also, I've seen a lot of BOD donate like $1,000 or $500, and all of a sudden they're higher ranks. I'm not saying they're paying for it, but I'm just saying, At one point, I think SGN was sold for $50,000, I believe, whatnot. I can't confirm that, so don't quote me on that. But money was definitely mistreated there. I can't prove it, of course, but it was definitely mistreated. I got a few questions for you.
Okay.
What was your best experience in SGN?
I'd say when it was just me and you, running our division, and it was really fun every day getting on and talking about what was happening, what was going on, and we'd sit there and we'd play whatever it may be, and we just talk about everybody, and that was pretty good. It was a really good time period, and there was a lot of people that envied us a lot. And just despised that we had such a connection, or that we had such a way of approaching things that would just nobody could ever compare. So I guess that time period that we were running our division, was probably the best experience, yeah. Because we really didn't, like, there was nobody from, like, BOD that was ever, like, necessarily talking to us. Because they had just, like, all entrusted us with whoever it may be, whether it was, like, Patrick at the time, or with Blue Dream, or Ish, whatever it may be. So, and, you know, and we were all friends, so.
Now, one thing I do remember now, I enjoy, because it's funny that I remember this now. I remember us playing games, being out loud, talking about everybody who we get this promotion and whatnot. And then we'll invite people in one by one, take their situations all day, just one by one. And we'll have the whole like deal stuff at the party. And you have either Mig, you have King Savage coming. Hey, I got a problem with here. You just all right, but what's good? We'll be in one party all fucking day, just handling situations. That was good. Okay. So then, what was your worst time in SGN?
Well, you already know the answer to that.
Yeah.
June of 2017 to like the end of 2017 was like so disgustingly like stressful for me, dealing with this nigga Rizzy. And I'ma like in the video before like all of this happens, I'ma like explain this nigga. But this nigga Rizzy, and the amount of stress and the amount of like just the want for me to like not be living anymore because of what he would say to me and what I would hear behind my back, because I was trying my damnedest and something would happen where a nigga was corrupt within our division and they would blame shit on me, or they would like frame me as if I'm not doing something, and Rizzy would not believe me because he has something against me.
That was I'm not gonna cap. That was one of my motivations to actually get higher and higher, because he did some foul shit to you, bro. I think he even admitted he didn't want you to be a founder in his division.
He said I remember he had said to me, or you had relayed to me, that he had said that he would never be promoted as long as he's div leader. I was like, okay.
It was me, Sen, Dub, and Angel. We asked him. Well, no, he invited Angel because he dick rolled her, and we asked him like, "What's going on with you and Kiwi?" He's like, he was trying his best, even doing more than half of us. And he legit said, and I quote, "Oh, he'll be a fantastic founder. He will kill it as a founder." He admitted you would have been one of the probably best founder. He admitted that. But he said he do not want you. He don't want you to be a founder in his division while he's over it. That's it. He didn't go in depth. He admitted to your skills, your hard work, your dedication, your skill set, your way to make leaders to better leaders, your way to handle situations, tests, investigations, security. He admitted every single thing that you were good at, and he said you will be a fantastic founder, just not in his division. That's legit what he said. When he said that upset everybody. No, like, cause like NTH, what's one thing that we promote in TH a lot?
It don't matter how it come, you know, you're good, then you're gonna get promoted. Doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Does not
We
matter.
don't care. We don't care. I don't care. I think we told one person who was scared. I think who did the test? Somebody did a test on somebody that I hated and you hated too, but they were good at what they did. And they didn't even know that they were going to get promoted. They didn't even try. And they said, "Hey, I didn't think y'all going to promote me since we don't like shit like that." I think me and you said, "Look, we don't care. We despise you. If you work hard, you deserve it. We're not finna ruin your experience just because of our own personal beef with you. If we deserve it, you're gonna get that promotion." And that's one thing Rizzy didn't really, respect. I feel like Rizzy wanted to rush everything just so he can get to BOD or Div Lead. I feel like they told him hurry up and then you'll get here. And I think he just didn't want to deal with you with it because he think he'll slow him down. Probably, I don't know. But when he promoted me over you, that's when we knew it was bullshit. You know, that was some. Rizzy was one fucked up individual, man. That nigga was corrupt like a motherfucker. He got news from everybody. He was the worst of them all.
The biggest one, and it's like them not even like acknowledging it. Like, oh yeah, we did mess up. Oh yeah, like, you know, we didn't treat you guys fairly. It's like, no, you just moved on. You know.
Oh.
It's like, okay.
I mean, they
and
treated us
then
like
if we
broken
dwelled in the
pigs.
past, then we're immature.
Oh, swear to God.
I don't mean to spread negativity like with what I'm doing. What I want to happen is I want them to acknowledge what we did and what they didn't do with us. That's what I want.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need them to say sorry. I don't need them to be like to message me saying, oh, I didn't do that, or whatever. It's like I just want them to acknowledge what happened and like that they weren't like they didn't do anything about it.
Oh yeah. If and instead of being horrible parents and leaders, they had a chance to cultivate us to something better. Because they didn't have to do what they did. But they already made us guilty before even investigating anything. But yeah, I mean that's really all I gotta really say about that. I mean, I do wish them best in their endeavors or whatnot, and I don't know the state of them now, but I do hope that they at least got rid of all they goody old, their corruption. Hopefully, just so that members can actually be promised a good way of life while being there with everybody.
Finally, let's hear from Paddi.
So I'm Paddi, but previously known as XGen or AO7. Most people know me from XGen. I was there for a long time. I made it up to the board of directors to being the chief performance officer. But I was also quite a big part in Exiled Syndicate, being on the council and I was a head admin for the forums, and I was a chief creative officer, so I was over the art department as well as obviously helping out in every other apartment and stuff like that. So I joined back on the 360. So I was it was actually Black Ops 2. I was playing Black Ops 2, and then I got a message from someone I was recently in a game with, and I don't know why I remember this so well, but he said to me, he was like, are you looking to join like a clan? And I was only like 14, 15 at the time, and I was like, yeah, alright. And they took me through this like little like 30-minute thing. Obviously back then the code of conduct was like a document you would send to someone, you know. I remember they sent it to me actually on WhatsApp, I remember actually, and yeah, and we were talking and all stuff like that, and then he just got me to put some stuff in my bio and my location and stuff like that, and then we ended up just playing for like hours as a group. Well, it's weird. It is really, I think it's weird anyway, because when I first joined, I didn't move up for a long time. I just stayed, like, I would guess you could say Master Sergeant and below, because I wanted to be a Master Sergeant to train people. And back then, I remember I was in DOH. I was in, what the thing was called? I think it was like Mercy DOH, yeah. And we were such like a chill squad, so you didn't really need to rank up, like, and if you were to rank up, you needed to be very good. It was one of them things, like, you had to put the effort in and all that. But I mainly just gamed, and there was a lot of, like, we knew everyone in our squad, You know, we were all chilling, we were having a great time. Every day, you know, there was always someone to play with, and there was always, you know, you still had your meetings and your workshops, but compared to how much we were gaming with each other, it had like no comparison, and it was really enjoyable. And then what made me initially move up was when, I would say it was when they started moving to Xbox One.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I was talking to Hellscape actually, because he was the last senior director over the Xbox 360, and he was in our div meeting, because back then you could have like lieutenants and captains attend div meetings, and it was all done in a Black Ops 2 lobby, because you could have like 18 people in there or something. And he joined in and he told us all what was happening and all stuff like that. And that's when I decided, oh, you know, I might actually move up on the Xbox One, if you know what I mean. So I didn't move up straight away because I didn't actually have an Xbox One, but they allowed certain, like, basically they merged all of the 360 into one division and done like a massive check on the inactive people and just cut it really down small. They already moved Dealers of Death on, and Reign of Death? No, Reign of Death was the last one, I think, actually, to move up. Yeah, they merged us all together, and then that's when, on the Xbox One, was when I decided, you know, I might actually start moving up now, because that's when things like Discord and stuff started becoming like a big thing around then. That's like when it was first introduced, which really like helped the communication scene, because we were all doing it on WhatsApp, you know, and that was like what we were using more than anything. I will say though, what I enjoyed the most, and I don't know, it was mainly on the 360. It never happened on the Xbox One, but on the 360, every time we had a workshop or a squad meeting, a div meeting, or sometimes even we'd have meetings like for the whole, you know, leaders of the 360. We always had a game night afterwards. We'd go, because we were in a lobby on the game anyway, because obviously on the 360 you could only have 8 people in a party, and because we were already in a lobby, we'd go straight into a game, and it wouldn't even just be one game, it'd be multiple. And that's what made it, I think, more fun, because you just went through that 30-minute long meeting or 30-minute long, you know, workshop, and then you're playing with all these people for well over an hour. We would do it, and that is what I enjoyed the most, was the gaming aspect back then. I think the inspiration was that I've always been someone that wants to like progress, and because I had already been in XG a while by this point, and obviously you used to keep track of all your stats in your bio. I'm sure you remember this. You used to put like workshops and how many you've done, you know. Mine were pretty good. Now, at this point, I've gotten all the way up to this. Oh, here we go. This was in Nexus TH, right? Bringing in the names there. I joined in as a lieutenant there, and I remember. Oh, I don't know if you remember him. XGen Sowers.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, the Brit. Yeah. And me and him were fighting for first lieutenant, and like obviously respectfully, we were having a great time. But then also when I went up, that was when Ish was the div leader. But he wasn't like a div leader. He'd game with us. He wasn't just there as a leader. He was a proper like leader. He led by example. He was great. And then I started moving up. I got to first lieutenant, and then I moved my way up into captain spots and all stuff like that. And the way they done it, which I don't know if they do it anymore or if they did it before I left, but if you were first lieutenant, you were next in line for captain. And I will admit, rank promotions on the Xbox One were a lot more quick, a lot more easy to get, if you know what I mean. Like, I went from lieutenant to general in God knows how long. Like, it wasn't even that quick compared to how long it took me to go from like corporal to lieutenant on the 360. But I think that's because it's not really inspiration, but rank was very important on the Xbox One, because everyone wanted to split their squads and progress and move up, and all stuff like that. So yeah, I'd say my biggest inspiration was wanting to move forward, but it was also the fact that it was really encouraged on the Xbox One and in TH to move up and put the effort in and all stuff like that. So I got to general with Nexus, and then Nexus split, which didn't go well, as we all know. When we were a full squad, it was really good, but then when we split, the people I had under me when I was a general, the people who were going to be the generals, who were going to run the squads, all fucked off. So it was very like manic. I remember at this point we had Rizzy as our div leader because TH had split into double helix, wasn't it? And
right.
Yeah, so this was after that. Rizzy was a div leader, and obviously I was co-founder at this point. I was trying, obviously, helping my best with Nexus and all stuff like that, and trying to help. What was the name of the squad we split into?
Mercury, right?
It was Mercury, yeah. So we split. It went to pile of shit. While I was co-founder and I was trying to fix it, me and Rizzy had like some massive heated debate, and that's when I decided to div transfer, and I went over to Dealers of Death as a co-founder because they needed div staff. At this point, obviously, this is when me and you stopped talking. Like, I had a lot of falling out over this, but we ended up realising later on down the line what happened, and obviously I'm not going to get into that here, but
Oh no, we will.
But now?
But no, later on.
Okay. But later on we'll get into it. But yeah, so obviously loads of stuff happened. I went over to DOD, sorry. I was there with Yeti as a div leader. It wasn't a very big division, but it was nice, it was chill. It was more World of Tanks based, but they did have Call of Duty as well. So I was like, you know what, it's a nice change of face, and all stuff like that. And then I remember I was asleep. I woke up. Everyone had left. 2 squads had left, like whole squads. The div leader, the founder, the other founder, and the other co-fo all left. I was the only div staff, and there was like a couple squads. So my first thing was like to see what was going on in the Discord, sort it out, get rid of any hateful messages and that. And they all left to go create a clan. I can't remember the name of the clan, but they were all done with something. Pardon?
Wasn't it UGR? Well, that was.
It might have been
actually.
I can't remember.
That was the reason.
I remember
TH...
UGR being involved.
Yeah, but that was
it
like
was
the reason.
UGR, yeah, you're right. It was, yeah.
Because that was the whole reason why TH and DH came back together.
Yeah. So yeah, then UGR happened, and there was 3 founders at this point. Most of us being acting gens, just trying to fix DOD, and then Wizardly Yeti started being the acting div leader again. Because he just got promoted to director from ROD, I think, or FB or something. So he decided he came in over to help us out. Then he was actually like mentoring me a bit at the time. Eventually, I got to co-div. At this point, I'm just going to fucking say it. Tex left again because she wanted co-div. She didn't understand why she didn't get it, even though she just fucking betrayed her whole div. But she ended up coming back as a founder. And then over time, working with DOD and doing all stuff like that, I then moved up to div leader. And then Tex moved up with me as co-div. The other person that was there kicked off as soon as I got co-div and left the whole community and actually went and joined UGR. And then, yes, that's when I became a div leader. And I was a div leader for over a year for DOD. And obviously a lot happened in that time. I always tried to be like a chill person, because the way I saw it is we are a gaming community. That's all it is. I'm just here to like organise everyone to have fun. Obviously there was other things like we used to have the spreadsheets and stuff that we had to keep updated, and we had the tags at this point. We had loads of stuff. But dealing with people was always, it depends, because new recruits and that, they're just there for a bit of fun, and you just got to kind of be understanding. But there was a lot of rules in XGen for being a leader, and for the way you don't really realise until you move up. And at this point, the whole code of conduct had been rewritten, and the handbook had been written, which done a lot to XGM because there were rules in place for everything. For what you can say, what you can do, who you can have on your friends list, how things have to be, and how the people in our community have to act while online as they represent the community, which was ridiculous. But dealing with people, you're trying to be a chill person whilst also trying to put these rules in place. And obviously if someone was being a prick, and obviously we dealt with it a lot, where you've got people slandering people, being racist, and all stuff like that. In situations like that, that's when you're just like, yo, we don't do that here, leave, you know, and that's when you'll put them forward for like a membership revoke and stuff like that. But in general, people, you'd come across, I came across so many people and so many different styles and that, and it's all about just trying your best to figure out the situation, and majority of the time, because of the handbook and because of the rules, people did just get membership revoked and blacklisted, especially if it was just one little thing.
Right.
I got membership revoked eventually, so it's quite a funny story. Obviously, we'll talk about more between div leader and board of director for me. But I got up to board of directors, having a great time. Then I realised I'm bored of it. Like, I didn't enjoy it. So I said to Ish, because Ish was the chief of operations or vice president or something at this time. I said to him, I went, mate, I want to step down to the Council of Elders, which was like the retirement home. And it was all approved. Corey was fine with it. I went over. And then then this whole NEX thing happened. And I wasn't even... When you're on the Council of Elders, you're not actually a member of XGN. You're like a respectable title. So they membership revoked me? No, they didn't. They blacklisted me to begin with. And then they changed that because a lot of people were threatening to leave. A lot of higher-ups were threatening to leave. So, like, he hasn't done anything wrong. I still want to talk to him. Because I made quite a few friends, and a lot of people actually enjoy talking to me. So then it got changed to a membership revoke. And then eventually, I think that even got revoked. But the person that blacklisted me was Corey. And it was all because I was in a party with Ish. No, it was because when NEX was created, I said, oh, okay, I'll do that. I'll help you out with that. So I stepped away from the Council of Elders thing, and I was like a guest on the server or something. And then I got blacklisted because people wanted to come join us. And they thought it was poaching, but it wasn't. As far as I'm aware. You might know more here. But I was never up for the poaching or anything. Because I remember, to begin with, we were just making a community. The whole of WAG wanted to come along. Because Blue Dream came along. And Bell came along. But it wasn't poaching, it was just they wanted to come. To begin with, right? And then I went to bed one night, woke up in the morning, I was blacklisted, and it was all because Blue Dream had spoken, and Bell and all that, because Kiwi, XGN Kiwi, was in this as well.
Kiwi spelled K-E-E-W-E-E.
Yeah, that one. He was in this as well, and they contacted TSB. TSB was a blacklisted clan. This thing got NEX blacklisted, and me and Ish, and quite a few other people blacklisted as well. Yeah, blacklisting and membership revoking there was handed out a lot more in the later years of me being there. Like when I first joined, the blacklist was just a list of clans, like about 20 clans, and about 5 people. And then a couple years later, the blacklist had over like 1,000 entries on it.
Yeah, where it's like they had to like make like a little like search function.
Yeah, they made a search function on a blacklist. And what makes it worse is they tried controlling all their members to not talk to any one of them, or anyone who was in affiliation with them. To begin with, it wasn't. When I was in DOD, it would have its moments. Like in TH, for instance, when obviously all that shit happened with people leaving. That hit me, that was stressful. when I went to DOD and all that stuff, and it was stressful. But overall, it wasn't too bad. But the higher up you went, there was more demand on you, more expectations for you to put hours of your day into this. And if you didn't, it wasn't good enough. You were demoted on the spot, you know. And obviously that had like a massive, you know, effect on me, because I wanted to impress. I wanted to be, you know, oh yeah, come on, let's do it. And yeah, that got more stressful the higher up I went, until I probably became senior director, board director, because that's when me-ish, Blue Dream and all that started implementing things to make life easier for everyone. We got rid of the sheets, we got rid of the tags, we made life for running a squad more game-based rather than, you know, all stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it was very stressful at times. I'll probably say the worst situation that happened to me, I'm going to say, because this is like the one thing that popped to mind straight away. I was playing Xbox with Bree at the time. We were playing Destiny, I think. And I got an invite to a party from Hells and Corey. And I was like, oh shit, here we go. So I joined the party. You know this story, by the way. And the first thing that got said to me from Corey was, he went, oh yeah, by the end of this, you're either going to be blacklisted or demoted. Which to me seemed weird, because they're two totally different things. If he was to say like blacklisted or membership revoked, it'd be fine, but you know, them two things. And he said to me, he went, you've got TSB on your friends list. And at the time I was like, what the fuck? So I went through all my friends list and there was no one with TSB. I went, you know, and then he started being so rude to me and started literally just bullying me in this party. Hells wasn't saying anything. And he was just ripping in, being mean, just pretty much calling me names and all that. And what he was going on about was there was someone on my friends list called Amy, who was TSB Leopard. But I didn't know that, because on my Discord friends list, it just said Amy. It didn't have any nicknames for her, because we weren't in any servers together. It was just an old friend, because she used to be in XGN. That's why we were friends. But it had no link. And I tried telling him that, but he would not listen. I ended up turning around to him and saying, I cut him off. And I went, I said, I think I can remember exactly what, but it was like, Corey, you don't have to worry about demoting me or anything. I'm going to leave. So then I thanked Hells. I said to Hells, I just want to say thank you to you for everything, because Hells was a massive mentor and inspiration for me. So I thanked him and then I left the party. Then I messaged Bree and I just explained it to her, because obviously at this time I was head admin, in charge of the art department. I had a lot of access to websites and stuff, and I just wanted her to know that I'm leaving. And she asked me why. So I joined her in a party again, and I explained the whole thing to her, and she said, hold on a second, I'm just going to message Corey. She messaged Corey, and then I got another invite to a party from Hells. Corey didn't send the invite. I joined the party and Hells was like, it was just Hells in there. And he was like, Corey's going to call you in a minute. Because apparently, as Hells said, he couldn't stand to be in a party at that moment because he was so angry. So I ended up getting a call from Corey on Discord, apologising. He was apologising for everything he said and for overreacting. And he wanted me to come back, the same as everything. Bearing in mind, I'd already said goodbye to everyone and left all the servers. Because I just wasn't having it. I ended up coming back, and I said to him, you just need to learn to talk to people properly, because it's not fair for you to just go around and act like that. But yeah, that's definitely the worst thing that's ever happened to me, because of the way I was spoken to by like the owner was just disgusting. And I was laughing about it when I left the party, because I was like, I've been fucking dealing with this for years. And yeah, that's probably the worst, I would say. So at this point I was the CPO, so Chief Performance Officer, and Orion started getting involved more. He was the Vice President, and then Corey started getting involved more, and then Yeti was on their side about a lot of things and all stuff like this, and they wanted to put more rules in place in XGN. They wanted to make it more serious, more political, and I didn't want that. So it took me a while, but I ended up just saying I'm going to leave. While I was in the 360, higher-ups were always extremely respected. So Hell's Fury and Capo, who were the director and the senior director, were extremely respected, but they also respected you. Never had an issue with them. You know, they were always nice. They came into meetings. You know, straight to the point, but nice. Enjoyed the gaming, understood why gaming, you know, and great. As I moved on to the 360, leaders were a lot more serious, a lot more demanding of you, and all stuff like that on the Xbox One. They were expecting more of you the more you went up, and a lot more of your time. When I became the div leader at DoD, it was expected of me to get a division at the time of like 260 people, which is a lot, right? They expected me to get that up to over 600 people within a certain time frame, with all these ranks filled of good staff, and they wanted me to ensure that all this other stuff was kept updated, and all this was done. And pretty much, I was trying to work at the same time, and you just never got the time for it. You never got the time for anything else. It was work, and then when I went home, I couldn't really get to bed because I was just dealing with this crap. Then when I was a seat, like, and all stuff like that, and then when I got up to director and senior director, obviously the higher ups expected you more. But I never really had many big issues. The main ones I had were with Corey, because we used to butt heads a lot. I never had an issue with Hells. I never had an issue with Bree. But the other issue, the main reason me and Corey butted heads a lot was whenever he got himself a new girlfriend, they were automatically promoted to the board of directors. And a lot of us had an issue with that.
You can even see that, like, to this day.
Yeah. I mean, the person he's with at the moment is the owner of this Kaizen thing, but also already part of the board of the Everything Exiled. So that's all these communities that they probably never heard of a week ago, and they're in charge of it just because they're doing explicit things with Corey. I think it's a bit silly, but yeah. But dealing with the higher ups, I mainly only had an issue with Corey, but Hells, I used to be able to actually have debates with and just sit there with him and deal with problems properly rather than argue. It was actually nice, and I had that with most of them. Me and Jaeger used to argue quite a bit. Me and Blue Dream did, but there was always this respect, really, that at the end of the day, it's all about being gamers and having fun. Most of them were fun, but I will say when because they used to be the board of directors used to be very small and very people that had been there for years, like Bloodsinger, Big G. Obviously, Hells went up to it eventually. And after they all left, and after Hells stepped down and all that, it all became a bit of a joke. Like, the board were using power for everything. They wanted the power. They wanted to demand things of people, and and then rules started coming into place where there was I remember this, and you remember it. A rule came into place where you weren't allowed to be in locked parties unless approved by a senior director. Why are we trying to control someone's parties on Xbox like that? It was ridiculous. And I remember, people used to say to me, are you gonna they used to come up to me and be like, oh, this person in your division is in a locked party, can you deal with that? Can you rank suspend them? Just for being in a locked party. And it was because the board of directors, and mainly Corey, were so scared that our own clan members were talking to other clans that he wanted to make sure that we pretty much had 24-hour supervision on it. Which isn't what XGM was about when I first joined. And it isn't what anything should be about.
Right. I remember specifically with the lock parties, they had like, after so many people, like, I guess leaders had like complained, they were like, okay, so you can only have a lock party on, like, if you're doing business, like, if you know.
Yeah.
Because like people just,
So
you know, there
if,
would just
like,
be
you're having a
random sergeant who would join into a party when you're talking about like, about to like rank suspend someone, like talking about like what they're doing, and then you'd have to kick them out. Like, you'd have to be like, hey, can you leave? And it's like, it got like annoying after a while.
Yeah.
So,
but
yeah.
on the backside of that, I remember, I'm guilty for this as well. When you only have to do it, but I would lie and be like, oh yeah, we're doing serious stuff. I'm playing comp on Overwatch. I just don't want people joining, you know? But yeah, and that rule made a lot of people start appearing offline and made a lot of people leave. I regret being in next gen. That's my main regret. However, the one thing I don't regret is the friends I've made. I've made so many friends that I talk to now. Like, I'm about to game with someone who I met in next gen. I met you in next gen, you know. I even met a girlfriend in next gen. You know, like, I made so many friends and so many memories and so much fun stuff happened and I loved it. But I regret mainly when I became a leader, dealing and tolerating the shit that higher ups tried to put in place and then also enforcing it. I should never have done that. I was in a gaming community. It's not a job. I should have just stood up for my people. Stood up for the people in my divisions, you know. And I did do it a couple times, but yeah. Probably Jesse, X-Gen Jesse 7. So mainly because when I was like a lieutenant, I joined the news team and she expected us to write us. She used to give us like deadlines. She was like, "Oh, Patrick, you've got 2 days to write up a story, like a whole story to go onto the website, and it needs to be done in 2 days. And if you didn't do it, you should have a proper go at you." She was a right little cow. And then, like probably a couple years later, she took over the recruitment department. She never let me join it. Never let me even help out. And then we were both head admins on the forums with Bree, and she used to never do anything, but she used to, obviously we used to have awards and all that come out for like the AAP, because Jessie used to be over the AAP as well. She would want to be the only one that would do it. She was very controlling, and XGM was pretty much like her life. And I get it was quite a few, but she was so aggressive and serious about it. But then she used to have the odd moment where we could sit down and actually have a really nice chat about stuff. But she was one of the people, I was saying now, she was the only person in XGen I ever hated. Like, I actually hated her. Hell's through, 100%. I didn't even have to think about that. Hell's, since I was on the 360, was always there and was like a mentor for me and helped me progress and helped me excel. But he was also there to game with and have a joke with, and I used to go to him a lot for advice. And he was always just, just so cool to hang out with. And it, even though he put all these rules in place and stuff like that, it was mainly Corey's idea to do it, and Hells was all up for the members of the community more than anything. He didn't want, most stuff happening. He wanted to make sure if we're blacklisting something or someone or a clan that there's reason behind it, there's evidence, He never abused his power. He never used his power to do something he shouldn't have, and I just respected him so much, and I still do. And it's weird, because I said to people as well, the day Hell's 3 leaves will be the day I leave. And it was. When after Hell's 3 left, that's when I couldn't be bothered anymore. Because Hell's kept Corey away. Corey wouldn't do anything when Hell's was there. Because Hell's was like one of the few people that could put him in his place.
Do you think that when Hell's stepped away from the community that it went downhill?
Yeah, 100%. No. Because I had already made the choice to become Council of Elder. And a lot happened, you know, in my life and that, you know, like the whole reason that Nex, you know, kind of didn't work, and that all would have probably still happened regardless of what my online community scene was like. And I think the Council of I probably would have still been on the Council of Elders. But I think that would probably be as far as... It was either that or I wouldn't have gone back. Because I've realised that Corey is absolutely milking the fuck out of being able to create new things whenever he wants. I mean, when we were there, it was Exile Syndicate and XGN. Now, it's all 300 different things, but no one knows who the fuck they are. So it's not like there's any point in doing it. I learned a lot. I mean, at the moment, I'm an assistant manager of a care home. I would not have half the management skills I have if it wasn't for XGN. The leadership style I have. And also, I know it's a weird thing to say, but like my organisational skills. And, I mean, I was part of the art team, graphic design. I learned that through XGN. Being able to code and stuff like that, I learned that from XGN, you know? Mm-hmm. And yeah, I did learn a lot. But at what cost? It was probably Belle. I mean, I know, like, she broke my heart and that, but if it wasn't for XGN, we wouldn't have met. We dated for 9 months, you know, and we did see each other, and, you know, we went on dates, and, I went on holiday with them, you know. I met her family, she met mine. Right. And... you know, it was nice. Well, while it lasted, it was really nice. It was the best feeling, the best way I ever felt, you know. And that was while I was at XGN, so I'd say that. But I would say the best thing to happen since coming out of XGN was maintaining the friendships I've got with the people I made. I mean, you, for instance, I still consider you one of my closest friends in real life, you know. But doesn't mean we talk all the time, but you know, I know you're always there for me and I'm always there for you, and I've made loads of mates, you know, that I still talk to and message and call. And that's what it was about mainly, you know. They will hold it up for as long as Corey can fake the numbers. I'm a part of the Exile Syndicate Discord server. My family group chat, which has like 10 people in, has more activity in it than a server with over 4,000 people in it. As long as he can keep... my thing is, I reckon it will still be a thing in 10, 20 years. But I think if they've lost their spark now, you know? Mm-hmm. I think communities as a whole, it's all about esports now. It's all about moving forward, and unfortunately XGN isn't doing that, and XGN's got such a bad reputation anyway. That's why Corey created Exile Syndicate, so that it would be a new face. It's stupid. I mean, even when I was there, Corey was charging people like $15, sometimes even like monthly, for them to have a role on a Discord server. Like, what?
And there was like a lot of people. There was a lot of people that did that.
Yeah, I mean, I've done it. You know. But it's the merch. I get the merch was always around. I get that because you want to, you know, represent. And I bought an XGen hoodie, and then Exiled Elite came out. Well. They had over 100 people doing Exiled Elite. Monthly, that was a lot of money. And they brought, like, for the first, like, 3 months or 4 months, they were giving things back to people. Like, oh, have this, you know, I've got a fucking Exile Syndicate magnet on my fridge at the moment. I got a lanyard for it. You know, I think I got a pen, you know. You can't tell me that me paying what $10 a month and 100 other people doing it, and all that money goes towards the magnet and the forums. Corey hosts his own websites. He makes money from other things to host it. You know, it's not costing him that much at all. So yeah, there's a lot more going on there than what people realise, and people just need to open their eyes more and realise that they're in a cult. And it's the best way to put it. It is a cult. It's a controlling environment that is not good for your health. And the people that realise it are the people that get put on the blacklist so they can't talk. Corey made money from XGN all the time, and he didn't put much of it back into the community. And I know that. And I know it's true. And I just think everyone's being lied to. That's in it. And the whole being friendly to everyone is just bullshit. And do you know what? Fuck them.
Now, I think it's time to talk about myself and my experience in the gaming community scene. And XGN next, we'll all talk about that. But I think I'm going to leave that to a part 2 of this video. It's going to be uploaded at the same time that I upload this video, this part. So I'll link it in. There's going to be one of those like eye things, this corner, whatever corner. So it'll pop up right now. And if you want to go watch that, go watch that. But here's just a little bit of a glimpse into that right here. All new people, everybody hated the previous leadership. They were like, oh, X person, like they were so mean, they were so crazy. Like, I'm so glad that next happened. And then they looked at me like, hey guys. I'm like, hey guys, like one of the founders of Next here. It still sucks to this day because I don't know where he is. And he was like my little brother, and I don't know where he's at, and I don't know if he's good or not. I hate to say it, but I blame the gaming community scene for that. And I'm really scared for this video to come out and they're not going to give it any attention, and they're just going to call me a hater, and I'll just get attacked, when the purpose of this video is to start a conversation and for us to talk like grown men, talk like I've been there, which I have. I've seen and built up things before. I've seen things get torn down. I've seen and been a part of things building up. So I have the right to be able to criticize. The gaming community scene is really unique. I found that it needs to be talked about more. Talked about more in the good that it can accomplish when they actually take criticism and have an open dialogue about things. Talked about more in the bad that has happened in the past and how they plan to move on from that, but also acknowledge the past so that they may never repeat the same mistakes. But they have definitely improved in the sense that they are expecting a lot less of people. From an insider perspective, I was explained nowadays in TSB is a really very chill place and not like this evil kookaroo mountain with a huge fucking dog right inside the gate. Helping people to have a great atmosphere to hang out with is really cool to me. Before I can ever hope to want to do that again though, I need these leaders to speak up. Speak up, please. Talk about what happened in the past. Talk about the oversights in specifics. You don't have to apologize for them because in most circumstances, you couldn't have even helped the situation. But the acknowledgement is what I'm looking for. The starting a conversation is what I'm trying to engage in. Not everyone is so enthused to hop back on the train of this same shit chugging along. I've talked about what I had to deal with. Please, let's start a conversation. Let's start a conversation on how we can all improve. Again, this video is no attack on any gaming community or individual person. This video was made to start a conversation and for everyone to improve in the future. As for me, y'all got my Discord. You want to have a conversation with me? I'll be sure to publicize it as best as I can for the world to hear it. For the viewers that have stuck around, I will be making a follow-up video to this if I do get some of these leaders in these communities wanting to talk. But please, 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 thank you for watching the video. This is a video that I've been wanting to do since literally January of 2021. It was a long time coming. I hope we can all come out of it being more aware of what is going on, and for those leaders of those communities to improve more of what you have started and maintained. If you did enjoy the video, tell me how you did down below. Like the video if you enjoyed as well, and share it around to others you know. Subscribe if you would like to see more from me. I usually don't do videos on topics like this, but if I show interest in something, I'm gonna cover that shit expeditiously. Thank you again, and I'll see you in the next video.